Build Your Business listeners. This is Matt Reynolds, your host for the podcast, and you are listening to what we are calling the legacy episodes. And really, these are the pre-episodes that really led to this podcast, the Build Your Business podcast. This is really my life's work and my brother's life's work in building your business. And so they were originally published in the Barbell Logic podcast as part of the Principles or Coaching Success series, but really touch on similar topics to the Build Your Business podcast: how to improve your productivity, how to set and accomplish your goals, deprioritize urgent tasks, to focus on what is most important to you, and most importantly, to become a better person and leader and business owner overall. I'm proud to bring you these podcasts. Again, many years of life's work, several years of podcasts, and several decades of business ownership. Hope you enjoy them and learn from them. You're listening to Barbell Logic,
the podcast where we talk about what it means to experience strength
and how you can use simple, hard, and effective strategies in training and nutrition to improve your life.
It starts with meeting you where you are right now and finding lasting solutions.
Welcome to the show. You're listening to the Barbell Logic podcast. This is another episode of the Coaching Success series. Hey, happy Friday morning, everybody. It's a great day for me. You have no idea. I had the worst flu, I think, of my entire life last week. Man, it was bad. Wrecked me. I'm never sick. I had flown in all of my mission control, my top executives. We meet twice a year to lay out strategy and all that fun stuff. And I sent them all home 3 days early because I was so sick. Running fever, chills, sore throat, headache, body aches. It was awful. I was sleeping 10 hours at night. I couldn't shake it. Could not shake it. So finally, after about, 7-8 days, I'm feeling better, which is great. And so playing catch up this week, all kinds of meetings and podcasts. And of course, now I've got to do lots of Zoom meetings with Mission Control, which is not quite as fun as meeting in person. We still got some great conversations completed last week. So excited for that and where the business is going in 2024. And first off, we announced that I signed a deal with Forbes to publish my book, Undoing Urgency. And it's really a book about that leveraging minimum effective dose for maximum impact in certainly strength training, health, business, and life. And it's really this collection of lessons that I've learned over the years from my early days as a strength athlete, as I've grown as a husband and a father, having mostly grown children at this point, and being married almost 25 years to my high school sweetheart. And of course, lots of business lessons as well. And so the first thing I want to do is I want to give an incredible shout out to my editor-in-chief, Nick Solin. A lot of you guys, Nick Solin is sort of one of our silent members, kind of behind the scenes. You might not know him as much. He is incredible as a copy editor. He's our editor-in-chief. He is helping me write the manuscript for that. We've got a great process. The poor guy's got thousands of hours of podcasts and videos, and then I try to tell stories and anecdotes that you haven't heard before on the podcast. And so I record those each week for him to help put in the manuscript, and then he sends me the rough draft of a chapter, and then we start going back and forth editing together. It's been a lot of fun. Super excited for that book to come out. That'll come out during the holiday season this year. So I'm sure we'll talk more about that. And Forbes has got, a big marketing campaign where I'll go on different podcasts and whatnot and talk about those things. And at some point, I'm sure we'll do a big book release and book signing and whatnot. So super excited for it. I've spent a lot of years building content and producing content, and mostly wrapped up in this podcast, and really shared with you all, with the listeners, really almost all the lessons that I've learned in life from those early days with Scott, talking about minimum effective dose programming and training, getting the best bang for our buck, return on investment for training. And that idea of undoing urgency is important. We don't want to do things that just are time wasters. We want to focus on the important. And so really that's what the book is about. It's about doing what you can to remove urgency from your life so that you can focus on the important things. And the most important things are often never urgent. You've heard me talk about that before. And so today, I actually want to talk about a section that we had in the book, and we actually ended up pulling it out of the book. It'll probably stay pulled out of the book, not because, it wasn't up to par, but because it just didn't quite fit any of the chapters that we had laid out. I'm very passionate about it. And I think it'll be an excellent synergistic or companion podcast. And so today, again, first off, I wanted to just say, again, thank you to Nick. He is doing an incredible job. I have some other exciting announcements that we'll make. The illustrator is someone that you guys have known and seen before. Got some really cool illustrations for the book. It's going very, very well. I've heard stories, horror stories of people writing books that it's just like the worst thing they've ever gone through. And I think because we've made so many thousands of hours of content, then we can pull the best from that content. We can add to it. We can talk about where we've grown from those days, 2017, 2016, 2018, whatever, in those years when we first got started, how we've changed as coaches, how I've changed in my health life and pursuing longevity and not just PRs for the sake of PRs, really pursuing a value-driven life and experiencing strength in order to improve my quality of life as well as the quality of life of my clients. And so today I want to dive in and talk about something that I've thought a lot about lately. I want to talk about influencers, and often connected with influencers in our business world are serial entrepreneurs. And I've mentioned serial entrepreneurs before, but I haven't talked a ton about influencers. And so I want to dive in just a little bit. You probably know where I'm going to go with this, but I want to be able to communicate this well and clearly and make sure that you understand where I'm coming from and just give you something to think about maybe this week. And so first and foremost, I believe that our primary focus in business should be to deliver value to our customers. Period. End of sentence, right? And I know people are going to come back and say, yeah, but business has to make money. And the answer is yes. At some point, the business has to be profitable or it's not a business and you go out of business. But when we focus on profit as first and foremost, or often only, it can be very harmful in business. We've made a lot of choices in our business over the years where we come back to our core values and say, is this who we are? And if it's not, we don't do it. But additionally, I see more and more often in this sort of influencer-led world is a focus on status. Often it's this combination of a focus on status and profit. And I see this most often or most frequently in the self-styled serial entrepreneur, social media influencer, right? Who builds a cult of personality. They spread their attention across multiple businesses and revenue streams. The primary thing they're trying to sell you is personal wealth, celebrity status. Look at me flying on my private jet. To this day, I've never flown on a private jet. I would love to at some point, hopefully as a gift from someone, because I'm not paying that kind of money for a seat. And they often talk about these like multiple revenue streams. I'm a serial entrepreneur, right? Serial entrepreneurs are bullshit. There's no such thing as a good one. And I know there are some outliers, right? But when the focus is status and the focus is wealth and the focus is celebrity, then we do those things at the expense of value. Brett McKay told me a quote once by Jack London, the author who wrote White Fang and Call of the Wild. And Jack London famously said once, if cash comes with fame, come fame. If cash comes without fame, come cash. And he was saying, look, man, I couldn't care less about status. And of course, the internet wasn't there, but that's the case for me. I don't care about status. I don't care about being internet famous or juggling 5 or 6 businesses at once. I would plead with you that are listening to this podcast to be the same way. While obviously building wealth is fine and good, the problems come when profit and status are the singular concerns of the business. And so my concern is when my value becomes status and wealth, it really overtakes true value, especially from our customers, right? We are to deliver value to our customers. The thing that I think has set us apart at Barbell Logic is that we have brought a professionalism to the online coaching world, right? In a world full of, bros and frat boy mentality, there are a ton of wonderful people out there who want to change their life and be healthy and be proud of their bodies and improve their quality of life. And it is hard to find good coaches and good trainers who are truly professional and don't live in that kind of bro culture. And I want to get away from that. I want to get away from status. And so that's why you've probably noticed that we've been very careful that while, yes, I appear on the podcast and I'll appear on the YouTube videos, we very much try to feature many of our other coaches. We try to talk to other people in the industry. By the way, I'm excited. I'll give a little tease, a little shout out here. I am interviewing Dave Tate tomorrow. It was actually a podcast I had to reschedule last week because I was so sick. Super excited to talk to Dave. Dave's surprisingly excited to talk to me. I'm going to have him tell his story of how he built Elite FTS. Everybody's heard the stories of the powerlifting and stuff. I want to hear the business story, the business background. And I want to share with him what I've learned from him. So I'm super excited to interview him tomorrow. Tomorrow is actually my birthday as well. I'm going to be 45 tomorrow. And so I want to bring value to my clients. I want to bring value to my customers. And that's what we want to do at Barbell Logic, and we want to do that in a professional manner. And I think that for those of you listening to the show, that's hopefully what you want to do as well. If what you want to pursue is status, cult of personality, social media influencer, you're listening to the wrong podcast. There's all sorts of podcasts out there for that very thing. I'm not going to name names. I've considered doing that because there are some people who have become influencers in this, even in the fitness world, who I think bring a ton of value. But there's others that I see that maybe aren't all in the fitness industry, although a lot of them are, who you can just tell they are full of crap and they are there for status only. And they're there to take pictures of themselves smoking cigars on private airplanes. And there is no depth to the things that they teach. And so if your goal is to create and retain value based on your principles and what's truly important to you, like hopefully things like relationships and health will sit above status and wealth. I would much rather see business owners hyper focus on investing their time and attention in creating that value and growth in one business. And this is where that serial entrepreneurship comes in. Many of these influencers are constantly selling the idea of multiple revenue streams, right? And I've said this before, multiple revenue streams in the one business is great. Do it, man. Like in-person coach, online coach, whatever you have to do to be able, we've got government contracts, we've got the academy, we've got all of those things are multiple revenue streams, but it's all under Barbell Logic and they're all intimately connected with each other. And so these serial entrepreneurs often focus on having multiple revenue streams that don't have anything to do with each other. And that's a problem. And so I would much rather see you focus on creating value and growth in one business. And so those few, the very few successful serial entrepreneurs, I wouldn't even use that word. I would say those few successful business owners who own multiple businesses, because I think serial entrepreneur itself is a big red flag for me when someone says that that's what they are. The ones that are truly successful have most often focused on the quality of a single business first, with the goal of creating a well-run, high-value, profitable business. They understand the business is the product. And then and only then do they expand to other revenue streams. But each time they do, they come back to that original core value of making sure the next revenue stream is as focused on quality and value as the first. It all comes back to value for your customers. If you have a revenue stream that's making you $8,000 a year, you should not go find another revenue stream unless you shut down the one that's making you $8,000 a year, right? Find the one that can actually be the thing that you push all your chips in the poker table to the middle of the table. And we go like, I'm ride or die on this one. This is the business. And then maybe after doing that for 10 or 15 or 20 years, you have enough money to, I don't know, buy some real estate property or buy a car wash or some laundromats or whatever. That's fine. I like all those things. Those are money-making things, but that's not what we do, right? More likely than not, the vast majority of serial entrepreneur influencers are trying to just aggressively achieve that success and status. And in doing so, they're obsessed with quantity over quality. And so by pursuing really numerous, multiple, weak and poorly organized revenue streams, they often spread themselves too thin. Of course, they don't show you that on Instagram. They show you what looks like success, right? but they end up spreading themselves too thin. They fail to create substantial value in any one venture. They become a jack of all trades and master of none. My job is to be a jack of one trade and master of one. That's the goal. That's the goal as a business owner. By creating value for our customers, by being professional, by raising the professional standard for us, literally at Barbell Logic, of online coaching. I want people to see online coaching as different than what it was seen as 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's not selling a program. We are raising the professional standard that the world should expect out of quality online coaching. And so when that serial entrepreneur spreads himself too thin, becomes the jack of all trades and master of none, it leads all of their employees, partners, affiliates, and anybody else that's attached to them and along for the ride at significant risk. And I think that is irresponsible. So serial entrepreneurs and influencers tend to overlook the importance of deprioritizing, because for them, time and status really is money. And the longer their investments sit idle, the bigger the trade-off they perceive. Great business owners play the long game in one business consistently, year after year, for decades, in one business only. Serial business creation, or the perennial side hustle, is usually nothing more than a distraction that creates unnecessary urgency and hinders far more important activities, like not just the business, but your health and your family and your life. So being busy is not inherently bad, but busyness without value is a waste of time and resources. So I would challenge you today, don't try to follow in the path of the status pursuing serial entrepreneur, social media influencer. Just focus on creating value beyond what anyone else is creating for their customers, and watch the success of your business grow. Create value and watch the business grow. All right, that's been another episode of the Barbell Logic Podcast Coaching Success Series. Excited. Hopefully next week will be Dave Tate, and we'll get a little story of the background and the history of Elite FTS. If not, it'll be in the next couple weeks. Should all go well. So excited for that. Have some other interviews lined up, including some of our own coaches at Barbell Logic Online Coaching, people who have been in the professional world and have left their jobs in the professional world to be full-time coaches now and are making fantastic money on relatively low hours. And so we're going to hear some great testimonials from them and how they leverage Turnkey Coach to be able to do that. Again, it's the reason what even I'm talking about today is the reason Turnkey Coach was invented, was created, was to be able to be a turnkey management system for your online coaching so that you can do what you do best and focus on online coaching and bringing value to your customers so that you're not spread thin. There was a time when we were using 10, 15, 20 different technologies. And now it's wonderful that we just get to use Turnkey Coach at Barbell Logic. Obviously, Barbell Logic Online Coaching is Turnkey Coach's biggest customer, but we're having wonderful feedback from other coaches that are using it. If you haven't checked it out, you can go to turnkey.coach. Again, there's that free coaching rediscovered course. There's no catch. You don't have to put it in an email. You can just watch the videos, and there's some great companion pieces with that course. And then if you decide to sign up for Turnkey Coach, your first month is always 100% free. And we only charge by the clients that you actually coach. We don't charge you tiers like 0 to 20 clients is this much. If you have 4 clients on your roster, you pay for 4 clients. It's that simple, right? We just want to be fair to everyone. So that includes not just providing value to our customers at Barbell Logic Online Coaching, but providing excellent value to our coaches who are licensing out Turnkey Coach. So that's another episode, again, of the podcast. If you've received value from this, we would always love a 5-star review, as I ask for every single week. Again, a huge help to us. Share it with a friend or family member. Think about this week. What are you pursuing as you start to think about making content king, building content, posting on social media? Are you chasing status? Are you providing value? All right. See you guys next Friday.